Hi! Let's start with my initial sketches for my idea to visualize trauma in a garment. I'll take you with me through the process of testing, problem solving and finding out what I want to say with my work, up until my performance where I was live on stage for 1.5 hours. While making the first sketches and thinking about this project on and off, it crystallized that I don't want to show off trauma as something static, as something you can't change. I wanted to show that through healing and working on yourself, the trauma can be changed and something beautiful can emerge. And with that, the idea of a changing garment was born. And last November, I had the chance to work on it full time with the prospect of staging it in an exhibition, and a dream was coming true. I've here my sketches to visualize trauma in a garment. And ultimately, I actually loved this one a lot. I really like that the patches symbolizing the trauma have different forms, different shapes, different volume. I think I'm going to create them as small cushions. Like a cushion is filled with something, I can try out different shapes and see where that leads me. Always having in mind that later in the projects I'm going to open these patches symbolizing the trauma and mending them somehow with hand stitches. Which also leads me to think about what filling I could use. I mean, that could also be part of the trauma. The filling that falls out could be diverse. Maybe I could use the filling to mend it, maybe not, maybe taking something new. All things I will need to determine in the future. So let's start. This is filled with paper, which I like that there is those bumps. This is filled with sheep's wool. Those are old boxer shorts, and I think the shape is very interesting. Then I have one that is filled with foliage, I think it's called foliage. I also like that because it also has this sound to it when you touch it. Then I have here one filled with sawdust. I like the touch, it's very soft, but it also, if you pat it, the dust will come out, so I'm not quite sure about that. Then here this long one is filled with little stones. And this one is filled with fabric scraps. I really like that one. It has a very organic feel to it. Last but not least, I have this one, which is filled with foam stuff. I also think I like, when I look at it right now, the blues and blacks most. And I don't think I like the colorful stuff, neither that nor that. I will go on and use more of these kinds of fabrics, the dark ones, for the volume and the patches. My favorite stuffing so far is the fabric scraps, also because I think if I have fabric scraps in there, in the transformation, I can use them and make something new out of that. And what I want to try out is also, I'm going to make a dress on the dress form and create forms on the dress rather than detachable. So that's the next step, making like an undergarment where I can put on the forms. As you see here, for the underlying dress, I sewed the tube, then I took a dress shirt of mine, this one, which I like the fit of, because it is a loose fit, and roughly mirrored the armholes on it, and then I put it on and checked out how far in I can go with the shoulder so that I still have space to get into the dress. So I have it on with the basting stitches in the shoulders, and I like it, and I think it's also okay that it goes up because I want to put things on it anyways. Maybe there will even be a collar in the future. And like that I have a good base, and I have here enough fabric to make a good strong seam that the shoulders can take the weight. I constructed a simple sleeve and added it to the dress. I like it. I mean, it's rough, but that's fine. At the moment this is a bit high, but when there is weight on it, I can still make a little cut when it's there. But what I'm quite certain is I have no chance of getting in when there is weight on it. It's too small. So I'm going to put in a zipper down the back. I'm just putting it straight on. There's no need to make it fancy or anything. And here is my first try at pinning it. So I don't know yet how that will look when I fill it with stuff, but I like it. Just imagine the whole thing is covered in such things. I realized so that I can work fast, I have to be able to put it under the sewing machine. But as a full garment, that's not gonna happen, so I'm opening up the sides. And then I also have some fabrics I already want to include in this process that will be under all this. I think it will be clear when you'll see me work. So I have two different stashes. This one is for the outside. Lots of browns, grays, blacks, dark blues. And then for the insides, I have lots of choose from too. Shiny things, cotton, different colors from reds to blues to greens to more pinks, I guess. And all that I can use to work. So I have something to do. Here you see the outline roughly marked with pins. And now I'm going to line it with this cute fabric with hearts on it. For the overlaying fabric, I prepared this one. I want it bigger, of course, so that I can create volume. So that, therefore, I'm laying it on it and roughly adding like so much all around it. I'm making it round, even though this has this edge in it, because I'm just going to put the fabric I have more in here, so it will become more voluminous. Now I'm going to add this on top of this line and making sure with pleats that it is the same length, but with the pleats I create the volume I can stuff in the end. And I make sure to leave an opening so I can put the stuffing in. Just to show you how I sew it, I want to give you an update on what I did yesterday. I think these are new. Here on the side. And on the back I attached some Velcro so I can access the zipper too, and also down here. Next up, I think I'm going to work on this sleeve and finish one sleeve. I think that's a good plan. So for now, this is finished. The arms are all done. And also the body. I thought about more what is important for me in the transformation, and it is to show that healing takes time and effort. And for that, I was thinking about how to show that, because that is the essential part I want to show, the effort it takes, and that it isn't a fast thing to do. So my mentor had the idea that I could live perform it, this way of transforming it, because she thought, and I agree with her, that I can transport it more what I want to say. Therefore, now I have first to make some test batches where I can find out how I want to transform that. So this one is finished. It's not filled yet, It's all empty. Now I'm going to make 3 or 4 test patches to check out what to fill in, how I can transform them, how that works when I am wearing it more or less. And I'm going to film that process to see what ideas I'm coming up, so that for the live performance I want to have a plan. The thing is for certain I'm not going to talk with the visitors. I want to work in silence on my thing. It's open if I wear headphones or something. I rather don't want to, because I think it's more intentional without. And then I'll see how it works out when I test the pieces and come up with ideas on the go, so that in the end I have some sort of plan what I want to do. Well, let's start with the first part of testing. First I open it slow, then forcefully, then carefully, slowly getting things out with my hands. And in the last test I opened it fast but determined. I like the last one a lot because it has impact and something happens. I'm now going to watch all that footage and decide what I liked, what I don't like, to incorporate in my further tests where I filled it with various insights. I created 3 patches that I could open and transform. The first one I opened slow. I looked through the things that fell out of it and made a decision on what I wanted to use to transform the flap, and then did that in one go. The second patch I opened forcefully and fast. Then I started sewing right away and looked through the pile of things while sewing. For the third patch, I was sitting on a chair to see how this works out. And here are my takeaways. I think sitting on a chair while sewing creates some distance from me to the pile, which I like. Then I realized it's technically basically impossible to sew something on the garment, like not on the flap. So I decided to transform the flaps, which I also like because the flaps are more symbolic for the trauma and less the inside that comes out. I have it so far that all the patches are on the garment. I really love how it turned out, and I think it's gonna be fabulous. And now I have to start to fill it with stuff. There are holes for every patch, which I then, when it is filled, have to close by hand. While procrastinating, I can tell you a bit about my plans for my performance. So right now the plan is to sit on a chair, on a wooden chair. Then I'm going to sit on some kind of sheet fabric, big fabric, so there is a visual border for where my space is, and then I'm going to start by opening a few. Then I start mending the batches, the dark ones, and I'm not going to just do one batch at a time, but I'm going to spring between them, because the importance is the impact. I really want to show a transformation in those 1.5 hours I'm going to do. And for that I cannot just do one at a time, because I have about an hour for a patch, like depending on the size, of course. This one is probably half an hour, but this is at least an hour because of the area I would have to mend. So that's going to happen. And also the plus about this is there will be a lot of stuff around me on the floor, which I also like. I'll take you with me for showing you all the stuff I have to fill it. There are ribbons, natural decorations, rope, plastic flowers, little gems, which also sound great. I have bigger. Then there are of course buttons, always work. There are even more things, like this is bamboo, sheep wool stuffing, something like that. I have fabric leftovers, a lot of them. I cut up some cans. Here I have some more natural things, old Swiss maps. I have foliage. In here are feathers, plastics, sticks, and this is Tetra Paks. Very thin foil and it has a shine to it. Then I'm going to make some more fabric scraps to have bigger patches, so I'm a bit faster with mending. I'm nearly finished, I only have one left to fill. And then after that, when it is filled, I'm going to pin here and then sew it shut by hand. And then there's only one thing left. Where is it? Here, down below. This isn't closed yet because I really don't have access. And then after I finish the last patch, I can lay down and then sew it shut. It's easier like that. I'm done. It's filled. So see you when I've cleaned everything up. Also, I'm going to clean up the patches. I want that they are not this fuzzy. And then I also can wear it for the first time. Let's see if I can wear it, because I think it is very heavy. It turned out so aesthetically pleasing, and while you watch the reveal, I'm going to talk about my final decisions before the performance. First, I worked on the setting for the performance. I rented 2 pedestals. I used an assortment of things that would fall out of my garment to test on which color the things would pop most. The dress will be on display before the performance. I will take it out of the room, put it on, and start my performance by slowly walking into the room, sitting down, and breathing until I'm ready to start. I will end my performance in the same manner. I will stop working, breathe slowly until I'm ready to stand up and leave the room. The title wasn't easy to find. I brainstormed with 2 fellow students and different words popped up. Healing, changing, transforming, growing, letting go. Growing. I really like that word because it has something active in it. And this is an important part of my message about healing. I have my transformed garment next to me, and every time I look at it, I'm just amazed. It looks so good. I don't think I expected this good of an outcome. And I think it's time to do a bit of reflecting. So first of all, do I think I was able to tell the story I wanted? And I do think I was able to tell it. I turned a bulky, restraining garment into a dress full with color and character and very nice details. And in the same time, I was able to show that this transformation is hard work and needs a lot of patience. I created something that has meaning, which is more than just my personal story. And I think I was able to do that because I had enough distance to the subject. It was scary in the beginning to commit to a performance, to leave my comfort zone and do something where I'm so out in the open. However, I am very glad I did it. I think I learned a lot about myself and that I can trust myself in extreme situations. And I'm going to take that with me, and I'm quite certain it's not the last time I'm going to leave my comfort zone with my art. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching. If you want to see an edit of my performance, you can click here, or I put the link down in the description. And if you want to see the first hour in the time lapse, you can find that here. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, maybe leave a comment. I hope I see you next time with another video. Bye!